Hello, everyone. This is Arnold Mangioli for Grateful, Ready, Open, Willing. It is Thursday, May 6th, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here and absolutely delighted for you to join us. So, I'm just going to talk a little bit tonight because I haven't touched base with you all in a while, and things are changing. There is shift, in case you haven't noticed. The governor announced that Broadway shows will open on May 19th, and then people from Broadway got back and kind of said, "We're not ready to open in 2 weeks. We have to, rehearse." So the opening appears to be, give or take, September 14th, with many Broadway shows putting tickets on sale already for the fall. Some as early as mid-late September, most of them in October, November, some in December. So it looks like there will be a slow start back now, and how exciting is that? And I know there's all kinds of complicated feelings that come up. It's like, are we ready? Are enough people vaccinated? Is this being done carefully enough, etc.? Well, I can tell you from my experience being a little bit on the inside of things, through my work as a casting director and my work in that area of production, there's a lot of thought going into a lot of this. None of this is arbitrary. So nobody knows exactly what to do next. We've never been through something like this. So nobody has the ability to say, well, here's how we come out of it, because we've never been here. So tonight, what I want to talk about is practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. And what are our practices? And what practices have we engaged since the pandemic started and over the past 14 months for those of us working in the theater, where there has been no work or very limited work? And what are the practices we'd like to develop and engage as we begin to come back in whatever form that is? And I absolutely want to acknowledge that nobody knows, even with this Broadway reopening, if it will take, if people will show up, and enough people to keep the shows running, and if and running at a profit, because Broadway doesn't run if it's not at a profit. Those shows close. So there's lots being done. There's a lot of talk of maybe having a 5 show week instead of an 8 show week. That may be something that happens. And then producers and equity are negotiating about that, and what actors will get paid and how we will work that out. So everything's going to change: the contracts, the minimums, the way we know it, the way we do it, the way we perform theater, the way we see theater. It's all shifting. We're engaged in this great shift. So welcome to the messy middle. I mean, that's where we are. I want to talk about 3 things tonight. I want to talk about where we are now. I want to take a look at our practices, and then really think for a moment together about what they're there for. If you have any questions, I will try to address those, if I can figure out how on the other computer. Jonah, where are you? Usually tell me how to do this. If I can figure out how to see them, that would be awesome. But that's not showing up there. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to just talk to you. Okay, so I also want to share some exciting things we have coming up. So the uh, the first thing is Broadway's reopening, which, of course, is happening to some degree or other, and in ways that we can't predict every detail of, because it's new. Broadway's never had to reopen. That's a new thing. We're doing this new, and if we look at where we were a year ago to now, what are your practices? Are they different now than they were a year ago, than they were 6 months ago, than they were 3 months ago? Um, would you like them to be different in the fall when Broadway reopens? What's that going to look like? I mean, for me, I shared early on in these talks, and Grow was intended to talk more about auditions and ways to creatively live in gratitude and express in fullness, your full self in the audition world, and in your work. And that's a big part of what this is and what we'll be getting back to. But then this world pandemic hit, and there were other things to talk about. So it sort of expanded since it ignited, which is kind of nice. Expanded and ignited. Um, let's look at the past year and what we've accomplished, right? So I know a lot of people feel not so good about the whole quarantine and the lockdowns and the shutdown of Broadway and the shutdown of a lot of businesses. But let's never forget. I mean, even the wearing of masks and things like that. People have some people have major issues with all of that. Let's not forget that when this started, the estimation was just in America, just in our own country, because this is a worldwide issue. But just in America, we were going to lose, I think it was 3 million lives they expected. That was very early on. And then we made this great shift and we shut everything down and we locked down. And to date, I think it's a 500,000 Americans that we've lost, isn't it? Like 500,000, is that right? Um, so by taking these actions, we saved 2.5 million people. That's great. So we can feel really good about that. We can actually start back in a place of gratitude that, yeah, we all made some sacrifice and we saved 2.5 million people's lives. I never would have thought I was capable of that, helping that, contributing to that in some way. And I'm so grateful that we all did what we did. And let's face it, we did it really well. I mean, I understand numbers worldwide are still pretty high. I understand we don't know everything about the vaccines, but many of us are vaccinated here in New York. I think it's 50% of us. So we're all taking the leap to protect one another and to help one another. And there's a lot of community there. And that's extremely powerful. It's powerful in the theater community. It's powerful for artists. It's powerful for us as New Yorkers, as us as Americans, and us as humans. It's just great power in community. The outbreaks recently are more in Brazil and India, so it's made its way to the third world where it can be much more tragic, and that's very sad. And hopefully we'll be able to help. Hopefully we in America will be in a position to help others and to offer assistance, which I understand, as of today, I understand is happening. So look at what we've accomplished and approach with gratitude where we're going, because that's fantastic. We did something really great. And if you wonder, oh my God, was it worth it? The answer is yes, it was worth it. One of those 2.5 million lives may have been yours. So thank God, you know. That's where we are. We're in the messy middle. We're somewhere between that Broadway shutdown, that when the coronavirus hit for many of us in the theater, it was that weekend when, I always describe it as that weekend when Friday the 13th and the full moon and the Ides of March all collided and Broadway shut down and theater shut down and everything stopped. That's where we came from. And where we're going to is things reopening. And where we are now is in the messy middle between those two things, trying to figure out what the heck we just came from and how to get to where we're going. So we don't know everything. Have to take some risks, have to figure some stuff out, have to try some things. So producers are trying things, theaters are trying things, Actors Equity and the other unions are trying things. Everybody's trying to figure things out. Let's not be hard on those organizations for trying to figure it out. They're trying to help get us back. And there's nothing to be angry at, because there's nothing that anybody's actually done yet that's working or not working. We actually don't know. So there's much to be grateful for. There's much to look at with positivity and hope. And I'm pretty excited about that. So how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. What are your practices? For me, when it all started, and I shared this here, that it was largely about meditation and about yoga, which, you know, it's funny because if you know me, if you ever watched me in a yoga class, you'd probably laugh. You'd probably be like, what is that person doing? Because, you know, I go into these positions where I'm trying to get my arm backwards behind my back and my other arm under my leg, and your hands are supposed to clasp. You know that pose? It always makes me laugh. I'm like, do I just have very short arms, or what is not happening? Because I see other people can do it, and I'm just like, I can't get there. It's a practice. It's not, we don't go into a yoga class because we have all the poses perfectly. Even the great yogis know that that's not what it's about. It's about practicing the poses. And in practice, we get better. practicing meditation. I do meditate, and my mind goes all over the place, and I'm thinking of some work projects, and I'm thinking of things to do, and I'm thinking of things I need to get done to take care of mom, and I'm thinking of things, and I'm thinking of what I'm going to say in this talk, and I'm thinking of, and it's like, no, it's not about thinking. It's about who am I without my thoughts. Just breathe. Just get in touch with ourselves. And it's a practice. And sometimes, some sessions, some days, it goes very well. And some days it's like, well, I just sat there for 20 minutes with my mind going off like the 4th of July. What is happening? Uh, Self care is a practice. You know, exercise is a practice. That's something else where you might get a chuckle if you watch me try to do it. But and it's a practice. I don't do it every day. I know some of you do, and you post amazing Instagram stories of look at the great shape I'm in, and I hate you all. No, I don't. But I'm very impressed with that, and it's not something I'm able to do. But I practice it. I try. I do it as many days as I can. I do it inconsistently consistent, or consistently inconsistent, or I do it often. um, the results are not what I'm told they would be if I did it every day, but I don't know, that some of that's got to be genetic, right? Cooking for ourselves is a practice. This entire time has been such an opportunity for us to practice taking care of ourselves, for us to look at our practices. I will say I'm expecting that cooking at home for a year means there's a lot less sodium in my food than there is in the outside world. I'm guessing it was kind of healthier, even if there was a fair amount of pasta and cheese in there, because, good little Italian boy, I love what I love. But cooking for ourselves is a practice. Uh, I just I just completed some courses, actually. One of which was a really wonderful course called Abundance Bound, and this amazing lady named Miata Idoga um, talked about ways to take care of ourselves financially, ways to, she doesn't call it budgeting because she says that word is like dieting. It has bad associations for people, but it's about financial forecasting and trying to look at our lives and what we spend and how we can do better in the practice of that. And that was an amazing experience. And I've changed my practices there, and I've gotten into some better practices in terms of taking care of myself there. My partner is so happy with that. You have no idea, because financially, he's really meticulous and really good at that, which I so admire. And I'm much more like, that's fun, let's do it. And isn't that what credit cards are for? I mean, I'm not wild and reckless, but I'm getting into much better practices now. Currently, I have 2 courses going at once, in addition to a bit of casting that's starting back. It's still Zoom readings and things in development, but now there's like what they might be in development for that's coming up, which is very nice. So I have that, which is wonderful, and I'm taking a writing course that is with the inimitable and amazing Susan Ariel Rainbow Kennedy. And I've taken writing workshops with her, and she's been one of my writing mentors and one of the positive forces in my life for 10 years now. And she's got a course on writing that she just started, another course on writing. And I started that a few weeks ago because I'm working on finishing my audition book. Oh, I'd love to come out of this whole experience with that book written. So I'm working on it. I practice it. Writing is a practice. Anyone who writes can tell you it's a practice. One woman in one of these writing courses years ago said that her ex-husband had said something to her that she really hated, but she knew he was right. And he apparently was a successful writer and would say to her, the only difference between somebody who writes and a successful writer is the successful writer is the person who puts their butt in the chair and writes. So it's a discipline, it's a practice. Um, it can be a much more spiritual practice than that, and I'm certainly in that camp of the more spiritual aspirations with it. But I'm working on that. And also, I'm working on a website building course because I hope to bring this project, Grateful, Ready, Open, Willing. Where is it? There it is. Camera's reversed. It always throws me. I'm hoping to bring Grateful, Ready, Open, Willing into its own site and its own community so that we're not subject to the Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg algorithms and things, and whether or not you hear about these talks and things. So I hope as that evolves, you'll sign up and you'll be a part of that. But first, I'm creating it. So I'm doing all of this work in learning websites, which is not my forte, as those who know me know. Messy, messy middle, learning new things, trying new things, embracing this great shift. And the important part of it, the third point I wanted to make this evening, and in terms of what it's all for, is it's about what it makes of us. It's about how it changes us. And that's the thing to remember. It's not about being on the cover of Yoga magazine in perfect poses. It's about what it is to show up and get into those poses and experience that flow of breath and clearing the mind and what it makes of us. You know, it's not about, oh, my book is going to be a bestseller. It's about what the process of writing and showing up to that keyboard or to that piece of paper or to whatever we're writing on in whatever media, that we show up and experience that process of expressing thought the way only humans can, right? I don't think there's any animals that write. I know there's some story of monkeys at a typewriter who typed out Hamlet after like 3,000 years or I don't know something. But really, we can express thought in words, and writing is a practice. Perhaps it affects us in that we get better in how we express our thoughts. Uh, Money practices, cooking practices, self-care practices. It's not about the result. It's not that I took this abundance bound class and I'm now a millionaire, a billionaire, a trillionaire. It's not about that. It's a trillion more than a billion, actually. Anyway, it's about what it is to look at what we have and appreciate it with abundance instead of living in a frame of mind that's always lack, which is such an easy trap for artists to fall into. We have a wonderful talk on here in the group with Brian Reisman, who provided this magnificent magic spreadsheet for us to track our expenses if you want to look it up in the videos in the group. Uh, and and it's just such wonderful stuff. And even the website work that I'm doing, it's expanding my mind. It's trying something that is not what I already know how to do. As we come back, chorus kids, please hear me. If you're a fabulous dancer and you've been keeping up your dance work, don't come to me and say, I'm so excited because I just enrolled in this gym program where I'm going to do more exercise. Tell me, I just enrolled in some singing coaching and I'm going to work on my singing. Singers who move well but not really, don't come and tell me when I know you as a wonderful singer that you're taking more singing classes. I mean, yes, coach, yes, stay in shape, yes, keep singing, of course. But tell me that you're taking some dance classes because you want to come back, and when it ends up being between you and one other person, they'll take you because you move well better than the other person. Let's go to our place of weakness and create strengths. Let's face our fears. Let's take the time to build ourselves as humans, as people, as creative artists, and express ourselves in ways that, as this shift continues, as we come out of this messy middle, some might say life happens in the messy middle, but as we come out of it into getting back to doing these things we love, wouldn't it be fantastic if we challenged ourselves and experienced things that were new and that we didn't know how to do necessarily particularly well, not because we'll suddenly become an expert, but because of what it makes of us, what we're able to become from doing it, what we're able to become from the practice of it. Right? It was just May the 4th, so the whole May the 4th be with you Star Wars mania thing that filled our social media. And then there's something on the 5th too, right? There's like May the 4th be with you, May 5th, I don't know, whatever it is. But it isn't the whole Yoda thing. There is no try, there is do or don't do. So let's do. Let's go and do. Let's go and do things that scare us. Let's go and do things that excite us. Let's go and get back in shape at the things we're good at. Let's go and try some things we've never been good at. Website building, hi, ooh, yoga, ooh, and let's do and let's see how it affects us, how the doing affects us, and how we, yes, grow. Oops, grow. How we go. I'll never get that right. It's so disorienting, the camera lens and the right and left. Uh, how we grow. And that's the point. So, in light of that, we have a number of really fun things coming up I just want to tell you about, and then I'll say goodnight. The first is very soon, over the course of the next few weeks, we are going to have some talks with the amazing Broadway accompanist Sandy Campbell. Many of you know her, and many of you have great stories about your careers and the ways that she has helped and supported and affected you getting jobs throughout the years. And I'm so thrilled. I've been after her for a year to do this, and she finally agreed. So she's going to come talk to us for a whole series because the long thing format doesn't work so well. So we'll talk for maybe some 15-minute episodes over the course of a week. And I'll let you know there'll be announcements in the group in the event section about when that's happening. Also, we're going to have another Access Forum, and it will be online because auditions are still online at the moment. And as per equity, they are going to stay online for a while. Maybe that'll change by the fall. Maybe it'll change sooner. Maybe it won't change this year. Maybe not even next year. So we've had some tremendous success in helping people to do their get back into their music work, their singing, their expressing with song, expressing thoughts through writing, through song, through art, right? That's what it's all about. So in Access Forum, we work with you on your musical theater audition material, and we've now done 2 full sessions working with people for online auditions. And I'm amazed at the success we've had, and we have some really fun surprises and bonuses with that. So that's going to be coming up, and we'll be announcing that sometime in the next few weeks, so watch for that as well. And that's as much as I know to tell you at the moment. But I've missed you terribly, and I really wanted to just get on here and say hello and wish you all the very best with all the very exciting things that are shifting and coming our way. And please go and practice everything you would like to be. And we'll come out of this better than ever. This is Arnold Mangioli for Grateful, Ready, Open, Willing. Thanks for joining me.